Alright everybody, welcome to my mono black zombie deck tech. Finally got around to making this. So first I'll just run through the list, show you what's in here, and then I'll give you a little more detailed breakdown of each card and what it does and what it's in there for. I will show you the sideboard. So first we have 4 Crypt Breakers over here. We have 4 Relentless Deads, 4 Smuggler's Copters, 4 Diagraph Colossus, 4 Haunted Deads, 2 Kalitas, Trader of Get, 4 from Under the Floorboards, 2 Sinister Concoctions, 2 Grasp of Darkness, 2 Key to the City, 3 Dark Salvations, 2 Liliana. We have 19 Swamps, 2 Westville Abbeys, a Blighted Fen, and a Gear Reach Sanitarium. So, as the name implies, it's a mono black zombie deck, so it wants to make lots of zombies. Obviously we start with Crypt Breaker. Crypt Breaker is basically your so it's Crypt Breaker. So Crypt Breaker, you can pay 1 and a black, tap it to make a zombie, and discard a card. He is a very strong 1-drop in the format. One of the best 1-drops, and he is a zombie, obviously. So he's good, simply because he's really strong as a 1-drop. He can get you lots of value. Plus he has the ability where you can tap 3 zombies to lose life and draw a card. And in my opinion, card drawing is always good. So, if you make a lot of zombies, you're going to be able to draw the cards off that. You can discard the Haunted Dead to it. Or you could also discard Aldarin, which is in the sideboard. But he's really just, I mean, you can pitch your zombies so that your Colossus can be bigger, is basically what it boils down to. There's not a whole lot of madness interaction in this deck. There is some. I'll show you that, but that's the Crypt Breaker. And I have 4 Relentless Deads. He is also a zombie. Now some people run Scrap Heap Scrounger in most of the zombie builds, but they don't have the Colossus. And the Colossus cares how many zombies are in the graveyard, and this returns zombies. So that's why I run these over Scrap Heap Scroungers, because like I said, it is a zombie deck. He has Menace, which is important, because usually they don't have a lot of blockers early on, so they have to put 2 guys in front of them that have more than 2 toughness. So you can usually get in a couple early attacks, especially on the play with him, and you can sneak through later. You pay 1 black when he dies to get him back, which is awesome, because you can keep attacking with him and get him back again, or you can use him as an infinite blocker. And then when another creature dies, you can pay X. When he dies, you can pay X to return another creature. So, if you lose your Crypt Breaker, then for 2 mana, you get the Crypt Breaker back, and you get him back to your hand. And obviously, with all the other zombies, you can recur them however much. So he basically gives you lots and lots of synergies, and you can keep playing him over and over. Next is Smuggler's Copter. Now, Smuggler's Copter is not a zombie, but in the current format, it'll focus. Smuggler's Copter is really good, especially for aggression. He lets you loot through, so you can dig to cards you want. You can discard your zombies in your graveyard, fix your hand. Just being able to draw and discard is good. Plus, he's a 3/3 flyer for 2 mana once you crew him. And we have plenty of zombies to crew him with. So I said Smuggler's Copter's in a lot of decks, but that's why he's in here. He's a pretty strong card if you're going to play any sort of aggression. Back to more zombies. We have Diagraph Colossus. Now this guy, whenever you play another zombie, you get a zombie, which is really good. Especially if you're going to keep playing that Relentless Dead and getting them back. Obviously, the whole deck's full of zombies, so you can get lots and lots of value off that. Basically get an infinite amount of zombies with the Relentless Deads keep coming back, and you can bring him back if he dies. Plus, he has an upside where when he comes into play, he gets bigger for each zombie in your graveyard. So if your zombies have died or if you have pitched them to your grave, you can get 2 zombies in your graveyard, and you have a 4/4 when you come back. So, a lot of people are afraid of him when he comes down. If he's not dealt with early, you get lots and lots of value off of him. Then we have 400 Dead, which is also a zombie. These are nice because they make flyers if you need chump blockers against opposing Smuggler's Copters. Or if you just want to get into the air, you get this. Plus he's a zombie, which is obviously good. And then you can discard 2 cards to bring them back from your graveyard. So you can pitch cards later that you don't need. You can put more zombies in your graveyard. This deck doesn't have a lot of synergies, like I said, with the Madness. But I still think he's good. And he's a good spot for the 4-drop as a zombie, is what we have to pick from right now. I have 2 Kalatos. Kalatos is not a zombie himself, but he makes zombies, so that's good. Also is a really strong card against aggressive decks. Puts up a wall which has lifelink, so you can race, get your life back. Plus, if you're going to kill their dudes, then you get to exile their cards and make more zombies. So overall, he's just a very strong card. Only a 2 of. Alright, so going into spells, enchantments, things like that, we have 4 from under the floorboards. And now this is a card you don't see a lot of, and I think it's highly underrated. It's nice because for 5 mana you get 3 zombies and 3 life, so you're getting 6 power and toughness, and that's good for 5 mana in itself. But it also has the Madness. For the Madness you can pay it for X. So late game, if you pitch it to a key or a copter, then you basically pay the same mana, the 2 black, and then however much X, and you get that many zombies. So late game he gets even better, and you gain that much life as well. So if you have the discard outlet, which is through the copters and the keys, which you'll see, you get a lot of value off him later. So I think it's a very strong, underrated card. It's good for card advantage. I have 2 Sinister Concoctions. These are just removal. You pay 1 life, put the top card of your library in your graveyard, discard a card, and sacrifice it to destroy a creature. The most relevant part about this is that it can be done at instant speed. So in a meta where there's lots of Emrakul of Promise End, he has protection from instants, but this is not an instant. So you can kill him when he comes down. It doesn't negate his ability, that's going to close your turn, but he is a very easy answer to deal with him, so you're not trying to face a 13/13 flyer. So just a removal spell. Grasp of Darkness. Now I just added these, I didn't actually play with them tonight, but when I did play tonight I lost to Smuggler's Copter. My deck has plenty of ways to interact with Smuggler's Copter, but I wasn't drawing them. I ended up losing basically to a Smuggler's Copter, so I just had to go ahead and put these 2 in there. And Grasp is pretty bit obvious, it kills most of the cards in the format, and since we're mono black, the 2 black isn't difficult to play at all. And it's instant speed, so it kills opposing Smuggler Copters. Here's the key to the city that I was talking about, so this is a discard outlet. You can discard your from under the floorboards, and it focuses. Come on, camera, there we go. And that's mainly why it's in there. Also gives you unblockable. So against opposing Delirium Ducks, Ishkanals, you can get in that extra damage. You can give your Kalatos unblockable attack with them so you can get that life if you need to, or attack with your big Colossuses. And then you also, when you untap, you can pay 2, so late game, if you're trying to draw more cards, I like to do that. Once you have tons of lands in play, you can untap, pay the 2, and draw extra cards. So you basically pay, you get the card back that you discard. So that's what I'm using there. 3 Dark Salvation. I had 4 of these before, but I took one out for the Grasp. I also took out, what else did I take out for the Grasp? I'm trying to remember. Oh, I had a 3rd key in there, but I think that was too many. So here's Dark Salvation. If it focuses. You get to make X zombies. And then you kill a creature. So if you pay it for 3 mana, you get to make 1 zombie. And if you have another zombie in play, which you probably do by the time you have 3 mana, then you can give a creature -2/-2. Obviously, if you pay it for 5, you get 2 zombies, and that's -2/-2 in that itself. If you get other zombie, that's good. And then late game, obviously you're making more zombies and killing more creatures. I wish it was an instant, but it's still a strong card for overall, and it's still a great card advantage. I typically play it for like 5. I'll get 2 zombies and kill a dude for it, which is basically a 3 for 1. Card advantage is always good. Well, pay 5, play it for 2. X is 2. And then I have 2 Lilianas. And she's basically in here just because she's a really strong card. Her plus ability is going to kill any aggressive dudes with a 1 toughness, so like your veteran motorists or your selfless spirits. Also good against Flash. I think I should take her out against Flash, but while she is still in there, she can shrink their dudes so that that 2 power doesn't kill your dudes. It makes a difference when you have a bunch of 2/2s if you can shrink their power. And so it's more of just against control. It's great because they don't have a lot of ways to answer her, so you can just win the game off of her ultimate. Against aggressive decks, she slows them down and kills the little dudes, so that you don't die that fast. And if you ever need to, you can -2 and maybe get some creatures back out of your graveyard, which is also good. So she doesn't have specific synergies with this deck, but she's just good in it in general. Like I said, a bunch of swamps. I have 2 Westfell Abbeys. Now, since you're making lots of zombies, you can probably actually trigger this. You can make a 1/1 token, but mainly you get the ability to flip him. And you pay 5 to have him sack 5 creatures. So when you're making tons and tons of zombies, you actually have the ability to do that. And I'll show you what the flip side of the card is. It is a 9/7 flying lifelink indestructible haste. So basically, if you flip him, you're going to win the game. Not going to be able to race you too much. Although I did flip him today, and I had a Smuggler's Copter, and he was at exactly 12, and I didn't see it. Ended up losing the game because I sacrificed the wrong creatures. I sacrificed the Copter instead of something else. But that's why it's in there, because you'll probably actually get to use it. Blighted Fin, basically just a removal for a creature. Of course, if you're playing against control and they just have 1 creature on the board, maybe a hexproof dude or something, which you deal with hexproof creatures specifically, or indestructible dudes because it makes them sacrifice them. So it's just a 1-of. Figure you have so many swamps you can get away with lands like that. And the same thing for the Gearrich Sanitarium. It's just if you're in late game, you got cards you don't need, you're trying to dig for something, let you dig. Obviously makes your opponent dig as well, but it's another discard outlet and it does let you dig. So that's the main deck. I'll go ahead into the sideboard and show you around that and show you what we do with those cards. Alright, so we're back from the sideboard. And I'll run through it like I did with the other one, with the main deck, and then I'll show you the individual cards. We have 1 Essence Extraction, 2 Ruinous Path, an Obnixilis Reignited, Pick the Brain, 2 Transgress the Mind, 2 Lost Legacy, 3 Valdarian Pariah, and 3 Harsh Scrutiny. So, Essence Extraction kills a little dude, and gains us 3 life. This basically comes in against any aggressive decks. I guess it could come in against Blue White Flash, but because it would kill a lot of their dudes. But mainly this is just a removal spell against aggressive decks, so that we can race them and gain life. Pretty simple, and it's instant speed. I guess it could also kill Smuggler's Copter if I brought it in. And we have 2 Ruinous Path. These are in here to kill our Planeswalkers. It's more removal against aggressive decks as well, but mainly it kills Planeswalkers, so it's in there to deal with Gideon, comes in against White Flash and aggressive decks. Not really Delirium, probably, but mainly any deck that's got the Planeswalkers, so Control, Blue White Flash with Gideon, things like that. Nixilis Reignited is a really powerful card. Obviously, it's a Planeswalker. This is specifically for Delirium matches. So I'm going to focus. Try to get the focus. There it goes. This is specifically against Delirium matches. Just because the games get drawn out, they let you draw more cards and get that card value. Plus, you can destroy creatures. So it's good for killing Ishkanaz, and I guess if they resolved Emrakul, you wouldn't get to use this anyway, unless you had just a bunch of energy on them. But it's another win condition as well, and it's really good against Control, because if you resolve him, you can get the ultimate off, because like many Planeswalkers, it's hard for Control to deal with. And then they basically lose if you ultimate, because they lose life every time you draw. And plus, when you're playing against Control or Delirium, your life total usually isn't going to be too threatened, so it gives you that reach with the card draw. So we have 1 Pick the Brain, and 2 Lost Legacies. Now these are basically the same thing. They're used for the same thing, actually. This one can target artifacts, so if you're playing against Control, it lets you hit their hand. So it comes in against Control specifically, and against Delirium. The disadvantage of this card is that you have to have a card in their hand, and you have to have Delirium to exile all 4. But against Control matches, it's good. And I guess it can kind of do the same thing against Delirium to get rid of Ishkanaz if they're in their hand, or Emrakuls, that sort of thing. But the Lost Legacy is specifically in there for Delirium, because this does get rid of Emrakuls and Ishkanaz. You just play it, you say Ishkanal, and they're all gone. Or Emrakul, or if you're playing against the Aetherworth decks, there's a lot of Aetherworks decks going around right now. You can name Ulamog, you can name Emrakul, and just take them out of their deck so they can't get them, and it limits their win conditions by a lot. So that's what those are in there for. This probably wouldn't come in against Control because it can't target an artifact. Otherwise it would, because it would get rid of Torrential Gilehulks and be really good. But mainly against Delirium and Aetherworks. Transgress the Mind. This also is going to come in against Delirium and Aetherworks because you want to get rid of their Aetherworks out of their hands. It's a good way to do it. Also, black decks like Delirium are going to bring in Flaying Tendrils against you, which can be really bad. So bring it in against that. I don't think it really comes in against Flash. Mainly those 2 decks. And Control as well, because you look at their hand. Control never likes you to look at their hand and take their spells. You can get counter spells, you can get Torrential Gearhulks win conditions, so it comes in against Control as well. It gives you a little bit of a controlling element. And it clears the way so you can look and see what they have and be like, okay, you don't have a counter spell, or you do have a counter spell, and you can adjust your play accordingly. We have 3 Harsh Scrutinies. These are in here specifically against Blue White Flash, just because they have, oh, what's he called? I forget the name of him, but the 2/3 Flash counters a spell that's 4 or less. This obviously will make him play it, or you can play this. If they don't, then you get to take a creature out of their hand, and Flash likes to obviously flash cards out of their creatures out of their hands. So you can play this, know what you're playing against, get rid of one of their creatures, and not attack into them that way. And plus you get to scry, so you can fix your draws as well. So for 1 mana, it's pretty strong. This is basically just for Blood Flash is what it comes in for. Because their dudes are fairly slow, at least the relevant ones. The Reflector Mages and whatever he's called, I forget his name. Then Vaulted and Pariah. Maybe she should be in the main deck, but she's not. She's just removal. She's just a really strong card in general. She's not a zombie, but since you have so many zombies tokens you're going to be making, you're going to be able to sack 3 dudes to flip her really easily. And so she's basically in against creature decks. Probably not so much against control, but against any deck where you're playing against creature decks, mid-range decks, or creatures with hexproof, that sort of thing, she's going to come in. So she'll probably actually come in a lot, but she's not in the main deck. Maybe she should be, I'm not sure. But also, if you have with the keys and the Smuggler's Copters, you can play her for her Madness of 3 black, which is also really good. Gives you another outlet for that. So like I said, she probably comes in a lot, but she's just not in the main deck right now. Maybe she should be, I don't know. You can let me know. Anyway, that is the deck. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. If you like the format, if you like this type of video, if you get tingles from my voice and the tapping, let me know. All those sorts of things. I have another deck. I have a red-green energy deck. And if you all like this sort of video, I could do a deck tech for that as well. And other than that, hope you all enjoyed it. Like I said, let me know what you think. And I will see you all later.